The ruling PDP-Laban party says that President Duterte has agreed to run for vice president in 2022 to, quote, make the sacrifice and heed the clamor of the people. Let's discuss this further with PDP-Laban Executive Vice President Carlo Nograles, who joins us now via Zoom. Good afternoon, Secretary Nograles. First off, have you personally spoken to the President about this? Have you heard him actually categorically say yes? And what convinced him exactly to accept this endorsement from PDP-Laban?
Yes and yes. That was the meeting that happened yesterday. So we had several officials of PDP-Laban meet with the President yesterday and discuss party matters. And it was during that meeting with the President himself where he categorically said that he is accepting the endorsement of the National Execom ng PDP-Laban, composed of the different national officers of PDP-Laban, endorsing him as our vice presidential candidate, official vice presidential candidate of PDP-Laban for the 2022 national elections. And he categorically said yes, and he's accepting. On what convinced him, well, if you look at the sequence of events, from the National Council meeting of PDP-Laban to our National Assembly, up to the time that the National Execom gave out a resolution, there was always that clamor from within the party, PDP-Laban, from region, province, city, municipality, barangay level members clamoring for him to run for vice president. And surveys will also bear us out that even among the Filipino population and voters, he continues to lead all surveys as a vice presidential contender. So there is that clamor. May panawagan po ang sambayan ng Pilipino na magpatuloy si Pangulong Duterte sa kanyang paglilingkod, although hindi na bilang Pangulo, pero kundi bilang pangalawang Pangulo ng Republiko ng Pilipinas.
I'm sure you've heard a lot of talk, Secretary, and I would just want to know what you can say about claims that Duterte's potential vice presidential bid is a mockery of the Constitution.
No, that's totally false and unfounded, no? Yung mga allegations na ganyan. Kasi hindi naman po pinagbabawal para sa isang Pangulo na tumakbo ng ibang posisyon. And there are already precedents behind that, no? We have had several presidents run for different positions after their term of office. Yung isa, may Pangulo po tayo, tumakbo bilang mayor, may Pangulo po tayo, tumakbo bilang kongresista, at naging, naging Speaker of the House. So, hindi po pinagbabawal na tumakbo ng ibang posisyon pagkatapos ng pagkapangulo. At yung pagtakbo bilang Vice President ay isa sa mga hindi pinagbabawal ng ating saligang batas. So, it is not prohibited by the Constitution. And besides, this is already the clamor not only of the party, PDP-Laban, but the clamor of the people. And again, the surveys will show that there really indeed is a majority of Filipinos who want the president to continue his service to the people in a different capacity. We've surveyed that, no? Sa Vice President, all survey outfits will show na tinatanggap ng ating mga kababayan si Pangulong Duterte as a vice presidential candidate, and he's leading all surveys.
Right. Now, on the back of that, of course, this leaves a big question: who will be the standard bearer of PDP-Laban? Is the party still pushing for Senator Bongo to be the standard bearer, or are there other names on the table? And if so, are you at liberty to share with us who they are?
I'll answer your second question first. As it stands, nothing has changed. Ang katulad ng aming endorsement for President Duterte to run for Vice President, the endorsement of the National Execom is for Senator Bongo to run for President. But he has not yet given us a categorical answer or response to that endorsement. Unlike President Duterte, who yesterday categorically said yes already to the endorsement. Yung kay Senator Bongo ay hintayin na lang po natin, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon at panahon si Senator Bongo to make the decision. So as it stands, nandyan pa rin yung aming endorsement, but whether or not he will accept is something that we will remain to monitor and abangan natin up to September 8, because on September 8, magkakaroon ng National Convention ang PDP-Laban, where we will be nominating already our national candidates from President all the way to the senators.
All right, that's just less than 2 weeks to go, so
Yes.
very much on the table pa rin si Senator Bongo. Now, will the President actually have the final say on who will be his running mate or bearer rather? Meaning, does his say have more weight because he is the President and of course the chairman of the party?
Of course, his preference holds great weight sa party, di ba? Like you said, no, he's not only chairman of PDP-Laban, but he's also the president of the Republic of the Philippines. So, yes, very heavily weighted yung opinion and recommendations of the president. So, even in the selection of the senatorial lineup, malaking say din si Pangulong Duterte sa pag-finalize natin ng senatorial slate.
All right, thanks for answering that so candidly. Now, do you think, Secretary Nograles, that the President will be able to pull off a campaign while simultaneously having to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, considering his age, his health condition, maybe?
Yes, I believe so. You know, yung pagtakbo ni Pangulong Duterte as a candidate this coming elections will not hamper or hinder our efforts to defeat COVID-19. And the president is more than capable of handling both situations. No? So, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung laban natin against COVID-19 no? Under the leadership of President Duterte. And we know the capabilities of the president, and he's handled many challenges, even in his capacity as mayor, all the way up to his presidency. And kumbaga, sanay na siya to handle different challenges all at the same time. So even in this coming election, kahit na nandyan yung kampanya, he will continue to function very effectively, even if it's a fight against COVID-19 simultaneous with the national campaign.
Right. Final question, Secretary Nograles. What else should we or can we expect from the ruling PDP-Laban party in the coming days? Are you going to release maybe some more names of senatoriables?
Perhaps the list that we released was just a name. It's just a list of 5 names. There are 12 slots. So between now until September 8, abangan. Tingnan natin kung ano pa yung mga next releases. Because we in PDP-Laban continue to dialogue and talk to the different possible candidates for Senate. And we have not made an announcement yet with regard to any acceptance from our presidential contender. Be that as it may, whatever happens, pagdating po ng National Convention, we will be nominating our presidential nominee and contender for presidency. And of course, si Pangulong Duterte na yung aming candidate for vice president. And then we have 5 initial list of senatoriables, and we'll need to complete the list. So we'll take it one day at a time, or maybe a week at a time, although next week is already September 8th. So that's just pretty much around the corner na. Next week.
That's absolutely right, Secretary Nograles. Just less than 2 weeks to go before this all finally settles itself. Thank you so much for your time and for your sharing those information with us. Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, at maraming salamat sa One News. Ingat po lahat. Stay safe. God bless everyone.